guys, Dolly here. Welcome back to Gipsyrosepaperie. Today I have a flip through for you, and this is for one of my larger hardcover books. And this was a commission from Kim, and I made a cover for it, like a dust cover. And so Kim wanted a dark academia theme journal, but then she also wanted it kind of like witchy, so that's the feel that I went for. I tried to use a lot of materials that kind of went along with that like academic theme, and thank God for Tim Holtz, because he, like, if you never really thought about it before and kind of just uses things, they just kind of go with everything. But really, when I started using his materials and products in this book, I'm like, oh my God, did Tim Holtz invent dark academia? Because everything just fits too perfect. So I'll try not to talk a lot, because otherwise this video is going to be a million years long. So real quick, I made a closure for it. It is not attached, and the book measures composition size, so about 11 by 8.5, and I just pieced together some scraps, and then I put this really pretty black lace, and that's the closure. Oops, and my little baby's breath is coming out, but it's very fragile. I'll probably like wrap it up for you, Kim, in some parchment, but I just like the way it looked kind of in that pocket there. So we'll leave it there for now. And the front is a collage. I used 3 different types of paper and kind of pieced it together to make these pockets. And so in here, I made like specimen tags. You could write on this still. And these are from my own personal ferns. Sometimes, you know, the leaves dry out, and rather than have them waste energy trying to like keep that leaf alive, I cut them off and I repurpose. So just use some tabs to kind of fit with that dark academia vibe. And I think I should probably write, I didn't want to write in my ugly handwriting like what they were, but this one is just a regular Boston fern, and then these 2 are from an autumn fern. And then here, I did some, like, I wouldn't call it graphic or digital art, because it really isn't art. Basically, I took pictures from the Free Domain website, and I kind of layered a bunch of filters and overlays and things to make it look sort of dark academia-esque. So in this one, I just layered a bunch of overlays, and then I kind of added this old like constellation type. It wasn't really an overlay, it was like an image on Pinterest, like an old like public domain image, and then I maneuvered it in a way to make it transparent onto here. And if anybody's wondering what program I use to do that, I use several graphic programs, and I'll talk while I put stuff away here so it doesn't take forever. But I use I like to use, I think it's Photofox is what it's called, and then there's another one, starts with an A. I am blanking, so I will link it or put the names down in the description for you guys so you can play around with the programs. And I have another little dried specimen here, and I have a little dictionary card here, this beautiful black rose applique. I use the Tim Holtz bobby pin there that says secrets. It's got 2 spine ledges, and the fabric is Tim Holtz fabric, which I heavily grunged up to make it fit the theme. It's got some tabs and a few charms, not too many, because I felt like dark academia is sort of more masculine, and I hate using like gender for themes or books. But to me personally, And my sort of feel as I went through this theme, it was more on the kind of masculine, less frilly side, you know, not as many like bits and bobs sort of spilling out of the book or whatever. So, but still very feminine because there's a lot of female imagery in here. So we open up. Sorry I'm being awkward, but like I have not filmed in the longest time. And when you don't film like for a long time, you're just awkward. So I'm sorry if I'm awkward. Several digital things I used in here, which I'll have to link because there's just too many. Some stamped images. I made some clusters, which I shared on Instagram, and I kind of used those to add a little something extra to the just plain digitals. But I do love me a plain digital, especially when it's well designed like that one. So that goes there. And the papers that I used in here, again, vary. Here's another Tim Holtz charm. It says Curious Things. And I used his like little sticker, like book quotes, and I made little poems throughout. And this beautiful paper is one of my favorite paper stacks ever. I don't know the name, but I do know it's Prima, and it's like a black and white. I've used that multiple times throughout my time making junk journals. I have my first, what I'm going to call a legacy envelope. I don't know if anyone else has used that term. I just wanted to come up with a name for them because they're super special, because they have these gorgeous Victorian buttons that a friend sent me. And I can't see what I'm showing you, but this gorgeous button, probably one of my favorites. And yes, it did hurt using them, but it felt right. I can't explain it. It has a little mirrors back there, little Victorian mirrors. So cute. And then a little flower, and this is like a faux suede-ish leather, which is embossed. And what I did was I created like those little coin envelope closures, which I've always wanted to do, but I just can't be bothered with the other, like the grommets. I never can get those right. And it's backed onto black cardstock, so it's really sturdy. And just a multitude of images. These are all Mrs. Cogs. I love using Mrs. Cogs digital images because she has a lot of classics, and I feel like classics go with everything. They just take a long time to close. No, just kidding. They don't take a long time to close, but I just wanted to make sure that they were securely closed, and so I wanted to put just enough twine to make it secure. And then I have another of those clusters down here. And this is another beautiful digital. I'm forgetting who, but I will, again, link them. Stamping, and I did some light stenciling. These are more digital images, and I had shared this on my Instagram, on the progress pics. Which, if you didn't know where I was on YouTube, I was probably on Instagram. And Instagram has been sort of my go-to, although I really have scaled back from posting on there as well, because just time-wise, it has not really worked out where I can post as often as I used to. But I made little poems with those book quotes from the Tim Holtz sticker pack, and then it's super fun to try to make up little like poems and little cute sayings with them. I have some vintage library cards, and I just stamped a little mushroom image on there. Another one of those public domain pictures that I heavily overlaid and edited to make it look dark and gloomy, with some die cut there. A little owl picture, and this little Batgirl. Oops. did not work out the way I wanted it to. Some more of that black rose applique. Again, I used several different papers in here. I'm not sure where like these are from. This one either. I just added some trim there, and then another one of the pictures I edited, and it has like some antiquated type script and math on there. And I had done a bunch of die cuts, and the negative was just too beautiful to trash, so I used it as like stenciling. And then like this one here is this one, and then I still wanted to save it, so I added it as like an overlay to one of the digital pages. And I just want to show you guys, this coffee dye is to die for. And some of the paper from some of the paper that was sitting on top kind of peeled off and adhered itself. Like, you can't take this out. I tried, but I love how it looks like old wallpaper that is like peeling off from like an old Victorian mansion or something. I thought that was cool. And some more stamping, and then here you can pause if you wanted to read what it said. I won't read them all because obviously this will take forever. Then there's some top loading pockets, and another one of my pictures that I edited. And I didn't take these pictures, they were from the public domain on Pixabay, but I just kind of made them bloomy and added a little bit of die cut on there to make it look not as plain. And then this is my original picture that I took and I also edited. I love my plants. You guys have been here long enough, you know. I have this beautiful key charm here. This is also Tim Holtz. It says found. Some stenciling, some sewing detail, which is like my favorite thing about making a book, is all the sewing. And here we have another vintage card, and I stamped like that splotchy stuff. Public domain picture, and I added more of that constellation overlay. Another Mrs. Cogs image with this beautiful die cut. And I do believe this is Calico Collage, but don't quote me. If I get it wrong, I'm sorry, which is why I don't like to say, because I don't want to get it wrong, because I don't like it. Yeah, so beautiful, gorgeous papers. So when I pick out papers for books, I really just have like a feel of where I'm going. I really don't have like a set idea. I definitely do follow like what the customer is asking. Although I've been really lucky where I don't have someone telling me like, I need you to exactly do this and exactly do that. And I think that even if they wanted to, I would just have to turn it down, because my process is so like random. There's no rhyme or reason. So here we have some images, and she did want some Poe in here, and so I have a crow feather, or rather, I don't think this is a real crow feather, but it's a very beautiful black feather. I haven't been lucky enough to find a crow feather in the wild. I would probably just keep it because that would be amazing. This one says parts and pieces. But so a lot of people have made mention of sort of like all the different papers that I use. More gorgeous. Take a look at that. Look at that mirror shaped like a moon. And I'm not quite sure what's in there. It's like a lady and a man, I think. And like this really beautiful iridescent button. And we have some more images. But I have a feel, and then I sort of know. What I do know is the kind of papers that I have, but I still kind of go what I call shopping for paper in my own stash, because, you know, sometimes if you've been crafting for a long time, then you know you have things that you forget about just because other things pique your interest more, and so you kind of gravitate towards those things. But I do try to like just go through my paper in case there was something that I forgot that I had. And also it helps kind of start helping grow like that seed of an idea of what I think I want to do. And the more I start to gather the papers, it's kind of like a snowball effect for me. I don't know if anybody cares to share down in the comments like if it's the same for them, but like when I start working on something and then the papers slowly start coming together, the idea becomes more of a solid form as opposed to like this nebulous thing that you kind of think you know what you want to do, but you don't really do. You don't really know, you know, type of thing, if that makes sense. But basically, I guess what I want to say is just go with the flow. This is my personal picture of my home, and then I put some music notes over it. Basically, what I want to say about this whole thing that I was just trying to really badly explain is that just go with the flow, you know? Sort of let the process guide you. In the past, I have found that I sort of get myself really stressed out about thinking what the final outcome will be, or what I think the final outcome should be, rather. And what I have found is that just getting lost in each individual process while creating the book helps with that a little bit. And so picking papers is kind of like that for me. I kind of put it off because it makes me feel a little anxious because it's like an overwhelming amount of choices. But in the end, if I just let myself kind of go with it, I start to choose different papers because they feel right, and it's almost like, oh well, maybe these papers won't go together. But if you just trust the process and go with the flow, then you'll see that they actually do work well regardless of how different they look. So basically, trust the process and everything will work out. So as you can see, these are different papers, very different papers, right? Patterns, nature, skeletons, but they kind of just still work. And if you hear that scratching, that's my dad's cat trying to break in. So I hope I'm not babbling too much, and I hope that you guys understand what I'm trying to say. And if you don't, just ask me down in the comments and I will try to explain further. Another die cut negative that I sewed onto this page, and black rose applique. You guys can read that there if you want to pause it. Another legacy envelope, and this one, this button hurt the most, I think, because the patina on it is unreal. I hope that you guys can see that detail, especially the worn edges and just kind of like her face. And then this button too is really very pretty. So this one probably hurt the most, I'm not gonna lie. But again, it just felt right. Like this book deserved these buttons, and so I am not one to say no. A little specimen in there for you, and some images. I'll go back in there, and this charm says found objects. And we're getting to the end here. This is a pocket, and we have quite a few digitals there. And that's there if you guys want to pause and read that one. And that's it. This is the end. And here we have, of course, Mr. Poe. And another vintage library card. And that is all she wrote. So, Kim, I hope you love this book. This book took me quite a chunk of time. A book this size with this subject matter is something that has to be carefully pieced together. So it did take me quite a long time. I would say 2 months, maybe a little bit longer. I want to thank you so much for being patient with me, and sorry I have not posted in many a weeks, many a day, many a month, maybe, I don't know. So I want to thank you again. I love you so much, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.